5 seconds. On the eve of the Republic Day, I take this opportunity to greet you and offer you my best wishes for a future of peace and goodwill and prosperity. This is undoubtedly an occasion for rejoicing, but it is also a time for calm reflection and introspection as we are celebrating this year as the Gandhi centenary year. The great man who won national freedom for us was born 100 years ago. Even after his tragic departure from us, enough time has elapsed to enable a whole generation of full fledged citizens to appear on the Indian national scene without having as much as even seen him. We shall constantly have to ask ourselves how far we have really tried to understand Gandhiji's message. Gandhiji believed passionately in equal reverence for all religions, a reverence that would bind people professing different faiths in ties of understanding and comradeship. He dreamed of a social and political order inspired by sympathy and mutual consideration, an order that would create confidence in minorities and encourage them to participate freely and boldly in building up the life of the whole people. We are afflicted with labor unrest, student agitations, communal and linguistic conflicts, and generally with angry discontent. We think of all the things that have not been done for us by others, of all the things done badly by others, are not as well as they should have been. Gandhiji's principle and practice was to fight all forms of social evil, but he knew that even success would be of no value unless in fighting against evil he purified and disciplined himself. I would appeal to all the students, to workers in fields and factories, to employees in government and private offices, to bear in mind the need for self purification and self discipline. At the same time, those who occupy positions of power in government or outside must remember that in the exercise of power they are subject to the authority of the moral law. If and when they are confronted with indiscipline, they must examine how far it is due to their own loss of moral stature and influence. In this connection, I am most deeply anxious about the spread of indiscipline among students. It is only the symptom of a common disease, but it is most dangerous because the youth of today will have to shoulder the burdens of life tomorrow and may be found unfit and unworthy. I would therefore appeal to the students to remember that they must, in their own interest, learn to give duty the first place in their thoughts and actions. Duty is not dumb obedience, it is an active desire to fulfill obligations and responsibilities. The performance of duty is not dependent upon or subject to the grant of rights. The dignity of the democratic citizens consists not in possessing rights that will counterbalance his duties, but in his regarding the performance of his duties as the right and privilege. Our youth must remember that the future of their country depends upon their willingness and ability to fulfill their duty. Otherwise, any rights they demand and obtain will have no meaning and bring no benefit. Gandhiji taught us that material progress will result from moral strength. Only a nation that has spirit and the courage to take big risks and make great sacrifices can rise to impressive heights. In this year of the Gandhi centenary, we must all pledge ourselves to be bold in action and take all necessary risks. We have before us examples of men who, in mechanisms created by the human mind, have soared into space, encircled the moon, established space station, and returned safely to the earth. In this triumph of the human spirit, one salutes the combination of scientific skill, teamwork, and the dedication to an idea which gives one the courage to risk one's all. We have defined our national objective in terms of cooperative commonwealth, which steers clear of the evils of both capitalism and statism. In our social structure in India, we have assigned an honored place to private enterprise, state enterprise, and cooperative enterprise. As we measure our advance against the goals, we find that the movement for people's cooperation has been lagging far behind inevitably. This carries the danger of affecting the character of even the other forms of enterprise with grave consequences to our society. I would therefore appeal for much greater attention to mutual cooperation in the coming years. Turning to the economic field, we find a new hope in agriculture, although the erratic monsoons of last year and floods in some parts, coupled with droughts in others, affected the production of food grains and commercial crops. The prospect seems quite favorable. I would, however, like to caution against too much talk of an agricultural revolution being round the corner. We are yet not free from the vagaries of monsoons, and there are too many imponderables in the agricultural situation. The formidable problem of agricultural organization has to be tackled in all its manifold aspects if we are to ensure continuing self sufficiency. Industrial production has begun to look up after 2 years of stagnation, and export performance has been particularly encouraging. It is a happy sign that there is now an increasing awareness of the need for self reliance. Our people are now aware of the danger in regarding every refinement of an old technology as a new technology. The craze for import of mere sophistication is receding. If the position of our resources for the plan is still not satisfactory, the only conceivable remedy is an ever greater reliance on the ingenuity of our scientific and technical manpower. A greater use of our talent and greater cooperative effort throughout the country can make up for the deficiency in our resources. Friends, this brings me to the core of our problem. The sole remedy lies in the utilization of human material, which demands inner discipline and moral authority in every field and at every level. Should so much of our scant energy be wasted on work at cross purpose on this solemn occasion, I would appeal fervently to every Indian citizen to remember the need for cooperation in the honest fulfillment of duty.